I come from a small village in West Wales called Llangining. One of my grandparents was a farmer, the other one was a miner who then became a farmer after a mining accident. I'm one of 12 grandchildren. I'm the only one of those grandchildren to go to university. And I was lucky enough back then, of course, to not have to pay fees to go to university. Because of my background, I also got a maintenance grant to go to university. So I very much think of myself as one of the lucky ones, which is why, obviously, I wanted to try and replicate what I had.
My first challenge was learning to speak English. I grew up in a very different environment to here. I would say I've been really lucky because of the environment I was in. Fairly accepting of who I am. I've never felt like I've been pressured into acting like someone who I'm not. My journey into law is a very personal one. The Home Office expected me and my parents to move back to Bangladesh. And obviously, having spent a good few years here, it would have been very tough for me to go back. That was one of my first times I walked into a solicitor's firm. I had to go to court and I insisted that I got to speak to the judge, and I stood up and spoke. I slowly started to realise the power of the law and how ingrained it is within every aspect of our society.
I grew up in Birmingham. I went to a normal state school. I missed a year of school because I wasn't very well, and then in year 10 I pretty much did half days, which meant that I home like tutored myself a lot. But as soon as I got back to school, I stayed behind every lunchtime in a classroom for a year. I was the first to get GCSEs in my family, and also will be the first to get A-levels. It was like a bit of a shock to the family. They're really happy for me.
For me, it's meant that I don't have to place any further burdens on my parents. Without this scholarship, there was a chance that I would not have been able to move up. It allowed me to be so much more independent and build so many more skills that I wouldn't have if I stayed at home.
Over the last 2 years, I've worked 2 jobs, one in retail and then one in administration. And as a result, this has allowed me to sustain my study throughout time at sixth form. So when progressing onto there, I'd have to up my hours from maybe 18 to 25 all the way up to 30 plus in order to be able to afford my accommodation. But now that I've received £15,000, it immediately covers the financial aspect of the university fees, and it also covers the whole of my accommodation. I will be able to join whatever clubs I want. I probably won't have to work, and not only will I be able to build my profile as a good law student, but I'll also have the time that I haven't had for the last 2 years to enjoy myself.
You know, when I was growing up, I had no idea about what the city was. So in addition to the financial help that we give these students, we also wanted to help them with mentors to explain to them what the city involves, to help them through university. Ultimately, what I hope is that we have a diversity and breadth of opportunity for people at Stephenson Harwood, irrespective of their family background, what school they went to, their ethnicity, or personally in my case, who they love.